We are Team Bootstrasm, and our app is called Fork the Road. So I already introduced myself. My name is Brian Martinez. I have Adam, Wojciech, and Shawn. So what is Fork the Road? It's not like their app, but kind of. we have you can put in a destination or an origin, a destination, and pick stuff what you want to do along the route. So I'm going to pass it off to Adam now.
Yes, I just want to talk about our motivation. We thought about this. We want to keep it simple, something that you can just go in and just use it and, get the stuff that you wanted. We want it to be relevant. A lot of people, plan trips. We think that would be good for their lives. And we also want it to be fun, because anyone who's ever done a road trip, plan it from start A to start B, is, you can have a lot of fun doing a road trip. And that was our motivation behind it. And I'm going to pass it off to my buddy here.
So I work on the layout of the website. I use the Foundation as a framework. It's great for mobile and desktop app applications.
Wojciech's very nervous to be up here, but Wojciech destroyed the front end on this in 2 days. We heard about the project, and he already had the framework, everything laid out for us when we started, and just he may not be able to say it, but he is the crap.
Yes, and we'll see how good of a job he did. As far as some of the technology we used, it was a lot of Google Maps, specifically the maps for rendering the map, and then also places for searching points of interest, and then as well we needed a direction service to plot the route between origin and destination. Okay, so we'll go straight to the app and see how it works. So here's our front end. As you can see, very, very nice, very pretty. And then we can just go straight in. Like I said, we wanted to keep it simple, so somebody yells road trip, and we can go here, and let's just do it. So we have to allow our location. Oh, geolocation was another important API that we used for Google. So typical use case, we can start with, obviously we use geolocation right here, tell us where we are, but we don't necessarily have to use that. We can start with anybody's point. So Brian and I became real good friends throughout this, and I think we're going to go on a road trip. So I'm going to pick you up from your house. Where do you live, Brian?
I live in South Bound Brook, New Jersey.
South Bound Brook, okay, we'll put that in there. And this is autocomplete, so we'll center right on the general South Bound Brook location. And where would you like to go for our road trip?
Where did we go? Was it New Brunswick?
Sure.
Oh yeah, let's go to school.
Let's go to school. Sounds fun. New Brunswick. Okay. We'll pull that up here, and you'll see that the route is already plotted for us. Now, we can just go from point A to point B, but that would be no fun, being that this is a road trip. So where would you like to stop along the way, Brian?
I don't know what's along the route, but...
well, I imagine you might get burgers. Imagine we might get hungry along this long road trip. So we'll search for burgers. And then you can see that we'll come up with a few burger shops along the route, one of which happens to be right along the route, which is a Burger King.
As you can see, I don't live very far from the school, so I shouldn't be late, but I am.
So right away, we'll start with some of the challenges that we encountered with our app, being that the Google Maps API is just vast, to say the least. Rendering the map on your page, as some people will attest, is easy enough, but that's just the beginning. So there was a few other libraries that we wanted to use that we ran into some trouble with, one being the Route Boxer, the infamous Route Boxer, which is a library that allows you to plot points along a route. As you can see, some of our search results are land outside of our route. This is because we had some challenges with the route boxer. And I feel like we got a lot of this down early on, and then we spent the rest of the time trying to figure out the route boxer. So I think one of our takeaways would have been to maybe develop a little more incrementally so that we can get we can get more functionality in instead of just trying to dwell on the one aspect of this project. So with that said, I'll jump into the code right now and we can look at some of this. That's going to be in here. Okay. So here's the initialization of the map. You can see we are creating variables for a direction service and also the directions renderer. Up here is where the map is actually created, and this is a default that you get from Google. This is basically centers around somewhere in Australia. And so we decided to leave this in just because we wanted to test the geolocation would work. And so where we make sure that it does is down here. So if the geolocation works, we obtain our latitude and longitude and then place it on the map. And then obviously we have some error handling down here. And then so we'll get down to where we plot the road trip. And that happens right around here. So there's a listener on the map that uses autocomplete for listening for the origin from the user. And so once that happens, we'll center the map around that origin. And then we'll also have another listener for the destination. So once that is entered, the map will now center around the area that contains the origin and the destination. And then there's also the code here for plotting the route, along with some other error handling here. And then this is where we obtain the places of interest. And so there is some code here that is bounding the places of interest to the vicinity of the map. But again, our intended functionality was to have the route boxer work and then plot points of interest along the route. So that will definitely be something that we work towards going forward, as well as some other things that were left on the table because of the roadblock. We would like to have some database integration to plot popular trips so that the next trip can be inspired by a trip that has happened before. And then you can search for popular trips. Also, we'd like to include some additional APIs to add points of interest that you may not know about happening along the route. So I feel like we were just almost there, but could have used the extra time to get that done. So now I'll leave it open to questions. Oh, show the site? Sure.
What was behind your decision to use Foundation instead of Bootstrap?
Because you said it
was
would
a
be brownie
requirement. Was that? It was a requirement. It was a requirement.
How did you like it compared to Bootstrap?
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Wait.
I think it was a requirement. No? Was it?
Did you know Foundation before you started?
No.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, I did not say it was a requirement. I mentioned that it would be, occur on this slide. It would be cool to pick that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I even got up and said Foundation is a horror show to learn, and it's like it's got a really steep learning curve, but it's really awesome. So misunderstandings aside, very well done picking that up so quickly.
Wojciech killed it.
It's similar, I guess, but I think it has more like things you can attach to the website. It's awesome. Definitely check that out.
This looks so slick, so useful. And it's interesting, you mentioned this rounding box issue, like
Route boxer.
route
Yeah.
box. I actually like it the way that you have it, where you have the route and then I can see anywhere around.
Well, the route boxer in theory and in documentation is supposed to work real easy, but it makes a grid system over the route and then cuts out everything else that's not along the route. So if we were to show a huge trip as now, and let's search for tacos you're going to get everything from New York down. Well, not
Yeah.
really, but
So yeah, also we're limited to autocomplete on the search box, so we couldn't just look for a generic taco stand along the route.
But still, like, it's just, you can see the potential and you can see that the concept is so good.
Yes. Additionally, when populating, let's say we found, I don't know, something like pizza along the route. So ideally, our intended functionality was to be able to click on one of these links and then add that location to the route via waypoints. And so you would click on this link, and then there'd be an option for add it to your route, and then the directions would recalculate through that point of interest. And then also have it be something that you can save and go back to later and collaborate with other road trippers.
What you guys helped me 2 weeks is like amazing. And obviously it's really ambitious, but